Hello and welcome to Resourcey a second time. This video will be discussing the technical side of Resourcey. If you haven't watched the first video, I strongly recommend you go do that. As you can see, it's very easy to use Resourcey. Most of the things are very simple, but there are a couple slightly tricky aspects, which is what we will focus on right now. One of these things is the likes. This is actually fairly simple. We are storing these in the Google App Engine data store as entities, so we can track who has liked what. For comments, we are using the Gadgets API. We're actually using a gadget that's very similar to the one in JKitchenSinky, so you can go look at that for an example. One other thing we are doing is if we like something that we already liked, it will show us that and then hide it. We are using the task queue to do that. Unfortunately, the Java does not support the deferral, so we're trying to add in some dummy tasks to make the queue go a little longer. It's not working quite the way we would wish, but that's just the way it goes sometimes. Here we have a form. It says not being validated in Google Wave at the moment. That is something that we hope to add with a gadget that does jQuery validation. But it is validated when it goes to Salesforce and will give an error message if you put in bad information. The way we're doing that is with the Google for Force.com for Google App Engine toolkit, which is very useful. This is our blog article on the subject, so you can get started pretty easily and quickly if you're interested. As we mentioned before, this is a Salesforce site. Sites was launched officially last summer, and we can see a lot of things publicly that before we might have only been able to see after logging into a Salesforce organization, which we'd see something like this. This is our Resource Manager app, and you can see it gives us a good deal of additional functionality that you can't access elsewhere. For instance, creating categories and subcategories, and also you can see here that we are able to assign the subcategories that exist. And now everything's assigned to the guest user, but it would be easy to set up an approval process that was internal to any organization. We also have some other things going on with the Chatter integration. One of the cool things about Chatter is everyone gets a profile image. We can see those and do some other things with leaving notes and so forth. So that will leave a note as noted in both. To do the outbound note, we are using outbound messages in Salesforce with the HTTP post, which we have a second servlet that's also an abstract robot, if you know the API, right? That's an extension of an HTTP servlet, and it is the post is received and then added to the wave that's part mentioned for any one of these objects. Every object has its own weight. So thanks a lot for sticking in there, and hope you have fun doing some development in Google Wave and Force.com.